Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing Red Skull from the Marvel Legends What If Konshu wave, and today I'm going to be talking about the box because this is the first wave to have that I'm reviewing anyways, to have the windowless packaging, and it's got some major pros and cons. The big pro for me is that I can take figures out and review them, or get acquainted with them so that I can review them better without detracting from the box at all. But the cons are that you don't know what the paint or quality control is going to be like on the figures that you get. I ran into that issue today. I had ordered He Who Remains, and he came with a neck post that was glued in backwards. So I have to return that. And also, just for like mint-on card collectors, like, it's basically just destroying that whole hobby. I'm lucky to not really be one of those people except for rare occasions, but there's not really any point in buying these mint-on card because you can't see them. So there's that. But let's take a look at this box. We've got Red Skull on the front, in front of the Cosmos with the Watcher in the background. Looking kind of neat. Also, this is my first review with my new tripod, which has a bubble leveler, so things will be level now, which is nice. On the side we get list of people in the wave, as well as the Build-A-Figure Konshu. I plan on getting He Who Remains, and maybe Classic Loki, I don't know. Maybe Jimmy Woo for a custom, but it's very low priority. Got another picture of the figure, plus the accessories he comes with, which is a new thing. Haven't seen that before. And then on the other side, we've got two pictures of Red Skull and the Watcher. And on the top, it's the Watcher. So, let's get this out of the box, or review it since it's already out of the box. Alright, so here is Red Skull out of the box, and I gotta say, he's a nice looking figure. I didn't expect to like the head sculpt as much because it's, it's a caricature, it's cartoonized, I guess you would say. I mainly bought it for the new body because it's got the more movie accurate black trench coat, and from what I think, more accurate paint apps. It's got red at the bottom of the sleeves, which the previous release didn't have, and the logo looks better, but I'll get into this more because I do have the previous release, and I'll be comparing and contrasting. But general look at the figure. His skull is a very bright red, which I don't remember it being quite that red in the movie. But let's go over the articulation. So he can go up and down, but not a lot. I guess it's just stuck. Another stuck joint. Man, I gotta say, I'm getting really, really tired of this, like, being a normal thing. I guess I haven't quite accepted it yet, but I don't feel that when you buy a figure out of the box that you should have to use a hairdryer on it. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't even know that that's a thing you can do, so it's ridiculous. But he could go further because he has a joint here, but it's just stuck. He goes side to side, all the way around. Arms go out, rotate at the bicep. Double joint elbows. There is a joint here. That's about all I can get it to do. The hands rotate as well as go in and out. He also can rotate there. Legs. Got to be careful with this because I think it's starting to split a little bit at the top, but there's double jointed knees in there. a cut at the upper leg, and then just the standard articulation at the hips. And then we get, the standard hinge and ankle pivot. So, first, I will go over his accessories. It comes with this Tesseract, which is actually a lot lighter than previous releases, which luckily I have the previous releases right here, which kind of vary in their own color. I don't know which is which, but one I think is from Nick Fury and the other is from the previous Red Skull. And as you can see, hopefully, this one is a lot lighter. Yeah, there you go. And I like them all, but I do think this one is probably my favorite because I think it reflects the color of the Tesseract the most. I remember specifically in Infinity War it had a big glow to it, like a bright glow, and I think this does it well. I've gotten this into his hand before. Let me see if I can do it again. Yeah, there we go. Fits in his hand very nicely. But it'll drop. Other than that, he comes with Konshu's right arm. And there's a bit of a wash to it, but not going to go over that too much. Now let's do what I really want to do, which is contrast it with the previous Red Skull. So, as you can see, the previous Red Skull, which is supposed to represent the movie version, has a gray trench coat, a much darker skin color for the head, a completely different head sculpt, and black gloves. As far as paint differences beyond that, this one has a silver button at the top, which I don't know, I think it kind of looks better without. The pockets are not painted on this, whereas they are painted here. I wish they had done that, but I do appreciate that the sleeves here have red, whereas they don't here. The logo, the Hydra logos, look very different. Strangely, they have each other's skin tones on the Hydra logos. I like the paint though better on this. I like the outline there, and the Hydra logo is more clean. Generally with the body I prefer the new one, but I do like the black gloves on this one, and I have swapped them and it does look better on this one, and I'll show you that in a minute. I was also appreciative that this Red Skull had 2 correct feet, whereas my previous one didn't. It pissed me off so hard after I spent all that money on it and it didn't have the right feet. Now, as for which head sculpt I prefer, it's been really difficult. I ended up liking this one more than I thought, but it kind of depends on the day how much I like it. It is very cartoony. So I think I'm going to have to say I prefer this one, even though it's a little too dark. Neither of them, I think, get the skin color quite right. But, yeah. So now I'm going to do a swapperoonie on the heads and hands. So here's that swapperoonie, and on the left I have what I would say is the best of both worlds. You get the head sculpt, the superior head sculpt with the black gloves that are screen accurate, and then on the right you get kind of the worst of both worlds. And now I will say I do think the gray gloves go for a unique look on the black body, but given that I just can't justify keeping both these Red Skulls, I'm going to have to just stick with the black ones. And while I was sitting here, I noticed another difference. The Hydra logo has some paint on it on this one, whereas this one doesn't. So, yeah. The only real problems with swapping is that the skin tones, don't really match. It's kind of less noticeable on the gray one, but on this one it's quite distinct. But I feel like it could either be explained as like it's part of his clothing, or I could just paint it somehow. But yeah. If you could only get one, I think I would say just to get the What If version, because the San Diego one is inferior in every other way, and it's also too expensive. But let's get on with some size comparison. So for some size comparison, I'm just going to keep it simple today. We have the standard suited body with Tony Stark, and then here's one of the few times you're going to see me bust out a Captain America figure. I have quite a few of them, I just never have a reason to get them out for size comparison, but here you go. As you can see, Captain America is a decent amount taller than Red Skull, which is interesting since they're both super soldiers. And then just here quickly we have a DC Multiverse Mattel figure, and you can see he's quite a bit shorter, so I guess he's a little bit of a shorty actually. So overall for this figure, even with the head that I prefer less, just as it is for 25 bucks, even though I think Marvel Legends are too expensive these days, I would say it's a good deal. You get at least one accessory with it. You get the superior body, you get a superior Tesseract, you get a piece of Konshu, and it's just a good looking Red Skull figure. And like I said earlier, I just really can't recommend that San Diego one, even though I do prefer the head. Unless you're willing to shell out. And I've shelled out for both. But yeah, overall it's a good figure. I'd recommend it. So yeah, that's all for this review. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.